G'day and welcome back to the garage. In the last episode of the RM250 build, the wheels were assembled with new bearings, seals, spokes and rims, and then fitted to the bike along with a new set of tyres. In this episode, the braking system will be assembled and fitted. Let's get started. Like the rest of the alloy parts on the bike, the calipers and master cylinders have been hydroblasted, leaving the surface finish looking like new again. Starting with the front caliper, the restoration process is the same as most of the other parts on the bike. A combination of new replacement parts and cleaned up originals, zinc plated where required. Firstly, the piston seals are lubricated with some brake fluid and fitted to the caliper body. And with the two pistons fitted, the rest of the caliper can be assembled. With the front caliper completed and fitted, the front master cylinder receives the same treatment. Only this time, the only parts reused are the alloy body itself. The rest are all new replacement parts. With the caliper and master cylinder fitted to the bike, the two are connected via a new brake hose, completing the front braking system. The last thing to do is to add some fluid and bleed the system. Bleeding the brakes is all about removing air from the system. Firstly, fluid is pumped from the master cylinder to the caliper, ensuring the reservoir is topped up as the level drops. And then, once there's pressure in the system, the caliper bleed screw is cracked, allowing the fluid to pass through the caliper along with the trapped air. This process is then repeated until no more air bubbles can be seen escaping in the clear hose. And with the master cylinder topped up, the front brakes are complete. Moving to the rear, the components are basically the same: a caliper, a master cylinder and a brake hose. The process of assembly is the same as the front. Rather than use an aftermarket hose on the rear, I decided to try and restore this old, crusty original. It consists of a steel banjo fitting at each end of a high pressure rubber hose, which is encased in some protective plastic covers. After a good clean up, I work out what I need to do. The plastic covers are damaged and need to be replaced, so I start with a basic drawing that shows the dimensions of the OEM part. And then the original cover is removed, being careful not to damage the rubber hose underneath. The hose ends were then blasted off camera to remove any corrosion and original plating. And then one at a time, each end was zinc plated. To replace the protective covers, I decided to use electrical heat shrink. It's usually used to insulate and protect electrical cables, but in this case it's a good replacement for the original protective hose cover. Using the sketch as a reference, the wrap is cut to length. And to make it look more original, the labelling is removed from the wrap with some acetone and then fitted to the hose. And using a heat gun, it shrinks to half its original diameter and grips onto the hose. The middle section diameter wasn't big enough, so another layer was added over the top and then a piece at each end finished it off. And considering how that looked to begin with, I'm really happy with the result. The rear master cylinder is again just like the front. The body is reused, but the rest of the parts are new replacements. And with all of the parts fitted, the system is bled, just like the front. The last parts to be fitted are the plastic protective covers on the rear caliper and on the front brake assembly. And just when I thought this part of the project was complete, I realised I didn't have the special stepped washer for the very last bolt. So, a new one was sketched up and then made on the lathe. with that, the braking system is complete. Make sure you keep an eye out for the next episode, where the intake and exhaust systems will be installed. Thanks for watching, see you next time.